and welcome to Spoiler Alert, where I tell you how something was that isn't yet. This week we're looking at Terminator Genisys, spelled with a Y because evidently Skynet didn't install spell check. So naturally, spoiler warning going forward, unless you've already seen the trailers, in which case my work here is already done. Now, you may have noticed that this seems to be the summer of old franchises coming back from the dead. Mad Max, Mission Impossible, Jurassic Park, and naturally, the Terminator had to return too because, well...
I'll be back.
And the reason he's come back? Well, besides the fact that there is still money to milk from this franchise, someone has to make Terminator 3 not canon. After all, if the X-Men can erase the consequences of a terrible third film, why can't they? Which is why we are again treated to watching a Terminator go back to the past to protect the Connors while they try to avert Judgment Day in some robopocalyptic parody of Groundhog Day. The main difference between this movie and the original is that in this one, a T-800 model Terminator went back to when Sarah Connor, who is for some reason not Summer Glau, was a child, and has been protecting her from Terminators ever since, because evidently Skynet sends them through the portal at the same rate I pop Tic Tacs. The Guardian, as he comes to be known, also finishes off another T-800 that looks like a young Arnold Schwarzenegger in a metaphor for how he felt being typecast after the first Terminator film. Thus, when Trunks, Kyle Reese, shows up to fight the androids, that should be the Terminators, he finds that Sarah Connor is less 80s waitress, more mother of dragons than he was expecting. She's gonna have an Iron Throne made of Terminator corpses by the time this is done. But what no one expected was John Connor, who's suddenly not Christian Bale, coming back from the future and not being human anymore either. Yes, apparently after years of being chased by Terminators, protected by Terminators, and killing Terminators, John Connor's logical next step was becoming a Terminator, the latest model, the T-3000. Don't worry, it can't be that tough. After all, it's still under 9,000. So ironically, after years of protecting John Connor, it is now up to our heroes to kill him, and they find out why all those robots failed so many times. Turns out, it's really freaking hard to kill John Connor. So in the end, do they save the day and erase Terminator 3 from existence? Well, I have to say, it doesn't really matter, because this movie establishes that multiverse theory works in this universe. So there's one universe in which Judgment Day happened, and another in which it doesn't. Unfortunately for the franchise, this causes some other problems. You see, if multiverse theory is true and when you travel back to the past you create an alternate timeline, then John Connor could have never existed in the first timeline to send Reese back, so he never would have existed in the first place. But, as we all know, and say it with me, time travel's really hard to write about. So that's it for Spoiler Alert. Join us next week as we examine the minutiae of Ant-Man, and as always, leave me comments down below telling me what to review in advance next. Until then, don't say I didn't warn you.